Hi, I'm Kednal. A few days ago, I decided I wanted to make a YouTube channel. I've created art accounts in the past for Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms, but I never enjoyed making that content enough to continue doing it. Plus, the sorts of videos that I want to make need to be longer than the attention span of those platforms would allow for. But before I get ahead of myself, I want to start the speed paint that I recorded for this introduction video, which is just a little sheet for the YouTube persona I made. I modeled the persona after myself. It's simple so I can draw it easily without taking up lots of time. You'll see me draw a decently simple version and then an even simpler one. Now, why did I want to make a YouTube channel? I've wanted to share my art with people for a long time, but like I mentioned, I just couldn't get behind making videos on apps with content that is shorter in length than a YouTube video. I write lots of stories that I plan to share on YouTube while making art for them. I'll also do lots of character design, as that is one of my favorite things to draw. Probably my biggest interest is The Legend of Zelda, so there'll be a lot of content related to that too. For my YouTube persona, I wanted it to be as accurate as I could get. I added what I think are my most notable features to the design. I've got eyebrows that I would say are on the thicker side, so I incorporated that into the design, as well as eye bags because no matter how much I sleep, they won't go away. I usually wear t-shirts and sweatpants, so I reflected that in what my persona is wearing too, as well as mismatched socks because I can't match them. I also put a little picture of my dog on the shirt. I'm thinking about changing the design on the shirt depending on what the video is related to, but for now it's my dog because I love her. I've been drawing for a long time, definitely over 10 years of my life. I'm 17 right now and probably started in preschool or something, I'm not entirely sure. My current art style is lineless. I had to make my persona simple so that I could easily replicate it, and drawing my persona with line art will make it more readable. Most of my artwork actually looks like this. I get bored of doing line art before colors most of the time, so I just don't do it often. In my content after this video, my art style will be more akin to this. After I finished the full body sketch of my persona, I moved to create a smaller profile at a slightly different angle. I also made a sketch that expresses more emotion than the other two, just to get a feel for how the persona will emote. This isn't going to be my most interesting video because it's mostly me blabbing about myself, but I don't want to cut into creating content without an introduction. I've already got an idea for my next video. I don't really plan to become famous, I just want to finally have a platform to share my creations with the world. Also, in the wake of all this new AI artwork, which is personally very draining for me to see, I feel like it'd be nice to provide people with actual human content. Well, I'll just say that I'm not the biggest fan of AI artwork, and I'll leave it there. It's probably obvious by the quality of this video, but I'm very new to editing and creating videos, so please don't be too harsh on me. I'm sure I'll get better as I continue making content, and hopefully I'll find more things to talk about as well. It was hard to come up with this many things to say just for this 6-minute video. I mentioned already that I have ideas for future content. I like writing stories, but I can't commit to making an entire comic, so I've come up with something different. I'll post videos about world building, character design, and all that stuff, and after that is finished, I'll post videos where I narrate the stories while drawing specific scenes from them. I won't spoil those stories now, but I hope that sounds intriguing. Of course, that won't be my only content. There's nothing strict about this channel except that it focuses on me expressing myself creatively. At this point, you can see that I've finished 3 drawings of my persona, and I'm now working on the even simpler version. I kept any designs on the shirt off of the simpler version and added a lot less detail to my hair and face. I don't know if I'll ever need my persona to be drawn this simply, but it's good to have just in case. As I get into the coloring, you'll see that I tend to use less saturated colors in my artwork. This sort of just arose naturally. It was something that I never really was trying to do, and for a while I was even trying to force more saturated colors into my style, but I kinda like how it looks now. My main form of drawing is digital art, though I still draw traditionally and sometimes paint. If you're curious, I'm using Procreate in this video. I found it to be the easiest drawing tool for me to use. I don't know exactly how often I'm going to post on YouTube, but I think it'll be at least a few times a month. My life's been pretty busy for the past few months. However, I do have enough time to make videos, otherwise I wouldn't be here right now. At this point, I've finished the line art for my persona. It's sketchy, but honestly, I don't like having a super polished art style. That's just my personal preference. This drawing of my persona took me about 30 minutes to finish, which is much faster than it normally takes me to draw. I'd say on average I spend about 2 hours on a drawing, though it obviously depends on how detailed the drawing is. With how long I've been drawing, I think I'm at a point where I'm comfortable offering to help other people. If I see that it is wanted, I might make a video walking through my art process or explaining what helped me develop my art style into what it is now. I didn't make my persona look very high energy and expressive because then it just wouldn't be accurate to myself. I think my voice is proof enough that I'm not very enthusiastic, and if I want to create an accurate persona, I want that to be reflected. On a more personal note, I've also wanted to start creating videos because I want to find a way where I can express myself with some confidence. I'm not confident talking to other people's faces about my stories, but I think I'll be more comfortable talking about them here. I didn't bother to add any shading to my persona. Shading would complicate the design, and having to repeat the shading over and over would get very repetitive and boring. I did add a highlight on the hair because it's simple enough and adds some nicer visual interest to the design. For the coloring, I went very simple. I wore lots of dark green and black, so those are the colors that I went with for my persona's outfit. I colored my eyes hazel and added the simple shine to the hair, and it was done. It's simple, but I like how it looks, and I don't draw myself very much, so it was a bit different for me to do. My videos in the future will be longer than this one. If you're here, I'm glad you watched until the end, and I hope you'll stay around to see what I have to offer in the future.